Autism is a superpower.
Musical.
Individual.
Autism is different for everybody who is diagnosed with it.
A spectrum.
Diverse.
Power.
Humanity.
So inappropriate, but sexy is the first word that came to my mind.
I was going to say autism is joy.
Part of society and needs to be included.
Autism is human.
Autism is something we're honored to talk about in our show, How to Dance in Ohio.
Meredith, your eyes, no. Your hair, no. Your ears, I don't know. You know what? This is wrong, this is weird, going poorly as I feared. Don't get up, I'll go. You don't know what you do to me, like you rewired my circuitry.
Summary, How to Dance in Ohio is about a group of 7 young autistic adults who are all in the same group therapy group in Columbus, Ohio, and their group leader, their Dr. Amigo, decides a rite of passage for them to grow and just practice their social skills is a spring formal, because autistic people don't usually get to experience that in the same way that neurotypical people would.
It's not a show about autism. The show has a lot of autistic people in the show, but really it's a show about connection and community and about taking risks, which I think is hard no matter who you are, no matter what age you are. It's difficult to take a risk. So I think going into this, know that you're going to laugh, know that you're going to feel things.
Yeah, and I always say this too, I especially want people to feel like they've had the biggest hug when they leave the theater. And I think just like any piece of theater, it should start the conversation. And, we're starting this conversation about disability on Broadway and in the theater in general, and we have a long way to go, and we're so grateful that
we get to be a part of the
conversation.
I like to socialize, but don't know how. How will I survive tomorrow if I'm this nervous now?
I feel like it's going to be the show that will change the course of Broadway history. It will open so many eyes, and it will make everyone feel, at least people in the autism community, to feel seen and heard.
I feel like this is only the beginning for autism representation and neurodivergent representation and disabled representation in the theater industry. I feel like this is a good step in the right direction.
I think both of us had this experience where we had been in the diagnosis closet for a while, really until this show.
I didn't tell anyone in this country that I'm autistic until I booked the show, so it's liberating to me.
There's a saying, if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person, and we are only 7 autistic people, so I don't think that we can be expected to represent the entirety of the autistic community, but it feels like such an honor to tell this story and to show that autistic people, we can do this. We're here, and we are very skilled and capable, and I feel so excited to be a part of that representation. It's not necessarily making the show so that we avoid any triggers altogether, because that would be impossible, but just making sure that there are resources for people to look into to prepare themselves for the experience and to voice any concerns they may have about being accommodated for that experience, so that we can create a Broadway that's more accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like something about accessibility in theater is that it's ever evolving. It doesn't just start and stop at sensory-friendly performances. It's also implemented throughout the theater, the accessibility throughout the theater, accessible seating for bigger people as well, for people in wheelchairs or people with mobility aids, implementing accessibility not only with neurodivergencies or mental disabilities, but also with physical disabilities as well.
Conversation really started opening up about a place at the table for everybody. And this production and this team has shown that there's not only a place at the table, there's a place in every aspect of this. There's a place in the lighting design team. There's a place in the music team. There's a place in front of house. There's a place in people styling the costumes, and there's a place for you on stage.
The producers were really dedicated beyond authentic casting to getting more autistic voices behind the stage, and they wanted an autistic creative consultant to help them with, creating, as we say, access from the start instead of access as an afterthought, or as another thing that goes along with our show. Like, it's not about being invited to the party, it's being asked to dance. I think that's a great one.
And actually what I've learned by working with the cast and working on this show, I now bring to everything else that I do about understanding individuals' needs and their accessibility needs, and how to make the space productive for everyone, not just for what I think I need in the space, but what do we all need in the space. So it's made me a more collaborative creator.
We like to think of what we're making as something that educates, not with a capital E in the sense that you feel like you're going to school when you come to see the show, but hopefully you walk away with it. You walk away from the show having learned something about a subject matter that you may not know much about.
I think there are so many young autistic or young disabled or just young or people in general who want to see theater but have that like barrier of like being worried they'll be overstimulated, or they just won't feel like have like too much sensory overload. And I just hope that that is more accessible to them across the board always.
Make sure you get your tickets at
TDF.